It's great to see you all. It's wonderful for the Health Empowerment Group to be able to serve you in this capacity. Tonight, we have 4 wonderful speakers, and for the sake of time, I'm going to tell you about each of them quickly, and they will just segue into their talk. The way things will work is that one speaker will just transition to the next speaker and to the next and to the next. And if you have any questions, please drop your questions in the chat as they come to your minds. And what I'll do is I will, open it up at the conclusion of the speakers' presentations to then read through your questions, or you can put your voice in the room and ask your question. We will end at 8:30, but we will stay behind until 9 to field more questions. Okay, just to let you all know. And if you put your email address into the chat, we can answer any further questions and send it to your email if we don't get to you for tonight. Okay, so with that said, I'll introduce to you Amaka, who is a culinary nutritionist who loves experimenting and exploring the healing powers of culinary ingredients. And she empowers individuals about the importance of nourishing with nutrient-dense meals to support their health goals through nutritional videos, as well as teaching you how to prepare, nutritionally dense meals. And then after she speaks on nutrition, we'll have Dr. Quinones, who will be talking to us about cardiovascular heart disease in men and women. He practices family medicine here in New Jersey, and he is more than happy to provide us some good information on that. Next, we will have Carlito speak, and Carlito runs a tech company. He is a certified crisis counselor and peer support specialist for Crisis Text Line. He's been doing that since 2019. He also volunteers as a disaster response crisis counselor for the New Jersey branch of disaster and terrorism. And then he will talk about mental health. And then Gloria will then close it out with a couple of minutes focusing on mental health in women and just giving us some highlights. And Gloria graduated from Christian Counseling School in 2006, and she is one of the facilitators of a safe group here at church. She's been doing that for approximately 16 years. It's a confidential group where women can come together to be encouraged from a biblical perspective in a non-judgmental environment. So she has a lot to share with us as women. And with that, I will then turn this over to Amaka so that she can begin our presentation for the night. Thank you all for coming. And I know you're going to be in for a treat. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Gill, for that introduction. I really appreciate it. So like Dr. Gill said, my name is Amaka Michi, and I'm a culinary nutritionist. And it's an honor to be able to just speak with you all about culinary nutrition as it relates to heart health. The hope is that you are inspired to utilize food as medicine and in taking care of your heart and your overall health. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and just share my screen here with you all. Just bear with me. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Do you guys see my screen? Just making sure. Okay. Sweet. So I'll go over a few points here. These are the points I was going through during the presentation. So why nourishing with nutrient-dense meals matters, the importance of nourishing with foods made from scratch, nutrients that support heart health, and also go over some recipes that showcases these ingredients. Okay, so to start of a new year, as we currently are in the month of February, I can't believe we're almost done with February, but super, super grateful to be able to have made it this far. And often we find ourselves creating New Year's resolution and try our best to stick with it. A lot of these resolutions often revolve around our health, of which food is a huge factor. And as much as we do our best to be able to eat foods that supports our health, it's important to pay attention to the nutrients that these foods actually contain. So now you may ask, why should I care about what nutrients my food contains? And that's a valid question for a lot of us. This is because our bodies and what it's made of come from what we feed it with. Hence the saying, you are what you eat, right? Which a lot of us have heard that saying before. But what if I told you that you're not just what you eat, right? That you're also the ingredients that are used to make the food that you consume. And then these nutrients, the nutrients and the ingredients provided by your food, whether there or their lack of mix or breaks your body's metabolism, right? So if the food you're eating is devoid of the nutrients that your body actually needs, that could literally determine if your metabolism will get to where you want it to be or if it's going to decline. And that literally just goes into how you feel on a daily basis. So now we then are really what we eat, and with the understanding that nutrients are truly what fuels us, wouldn't you agree with me that focusing on the nutrients that you feed yourself with is important, right? So as to help you stay well nourished and avoid being nutrient deficient, as a deficiency or several deficiency in different nutrients are actually prone to causing a lot of the chronic conditions and the health diseases that we currently see, and of which heart conditions are not exempt. And conversation about fueling ourselves nowadays is not about how healthy you eat, right? But more so about how much nutrients needed by your body is in the food that you daily consume, right? So we're focusing more on nutrients as opposed to, how really healthy can I be eating? This is because studies over and over have shown that the food we consume nowadays are very devoid of the nutrients that your body really needs to function at its best. Studies show that 100% of Americans don't get enough potassium. 95% are magnesium deficient, 94% don't get enough vitamin D, and the list goes on. And this is just for most Americans. This speaks a lot as to how serious our population are becoming devoid of essential nutrients, or are not getting enough of the nutrients that from the food that we expect to provide us with the required amounts of nutrients. And it's really sad if you actually take the time to think about it. However, as sad as it may sound, the good news, though, is that you can take back this aspect of your health to fueling your body with food that provides you with the nutrients your body needs by using the keys to health from an arena of health, an arena of healing in your home, which is your kitchen, with one simple, flavorful, nutrient-dense meal at a time. And this is where cooking from scratch comes in handy, as you begin preparing your food from scratch with ingredients that provide the nutrients your body needs, you are one step ahead from avoiding health conditions that could result from a deficiency in a specific nutrient. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about some nutrients that supports heart health. One of them would be magnesium, which is a nutrient that is involved in over 600 enzymatic reactions in the body, of which relaxing your muscles is one of them. Magnesium is vital for your heart as it helps put the heart muscles at ease, allowing for better pumping of blood in your body. The next, and here are some of the examples of foods that are really high in magnesium. The next nutrient I'll be talking about is iron, which is an incredible mineral that aids in transportation and storage of oxygen throughout your body, allowing for better flow of your blood. And these are a couple of the foods that are really rich in iron. As you can see here, we have dark chocolate, lentils, spinach, and the rest. And so here you see, some of the nutrients, and there's so many other nutrients that really goes into supporting your heart health. I'm going to go into some ways to create some fun, simple meals with these ingredients that I've mentioned, those are at least some of them, and includes creating a berry smoothie, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us are aware of, right? A lot of us are used to making smoothies, and these are just easy, fun ways that you can incorporate very simple, very nutrient-dense, healthy foods into your daily meals. Another is a chickpea bowl, like I have here, which has chickpeas, cauliflower, sweet potatoes, and other ingredients as you see here. So these ingredients bring vibrancy to your cells, and I do hope the information that I've provided has helped change your mindset on how great tasting, nutrient-dense meals can be made from the simplest of real produce. As individuals and as disciples, it's vital that we take good care of our health, as we only get one body, right? And God calls us to be great stewards of our bodies, and what we feed it with truly matters. And it really just goes to show how much of a steward you are. So hopefully these scriptures help you just, understand or create a why behind really having a goal to fuel yourself with the nutrients that your body really needs. And let's see, that's pretty much all I do have. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, like Maggie said, you could definitely put in whatever questions you may have in the group chat, and I'm just gonna let the next member take on. Thank you. Sharing.
Thank you. Dr. Quinones will take over.
Great job, Amaka. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to talk about heart health, and I'm going to focus on the physical aspects of it. Your heart works nonstop. It's 100,000 beats a day, 35 million beats a year, and 2.5 million beats on average for your life. I'm sorry, 2.5 billion beats on average for your lifetime. In the United States, close to 700,000 people die every year from heart disease. Half of them die from coronary heart disease, more than half. There are 805,000 people a year who have heart attacks in the United States. And so keeping our heart healthy is extremely important. And some simple things to do that. We just went over eating healthy. And yes, keeping it simple. Yeah, just to reiterate, eat fresh, eat natural. You're hungry, you want a snack, grab an apple, is what I tell people, not a donut. Makes a big difference in how our body, and taking care of our body. Carlito will talk about managing stress and the mental aspect of taking care of our hearts. Some quick and simple things to take care of our hearts is, one, you maintain a healthy blood pressure. Find a place where you can get your blood pressure checked outside of the doctor's office. So whether it be you get your own monitor at home, or the Walmart, the CVS, some local pharmacies and some local supermarkets will have blood pressure machines where you can go, and while you're there picking up whatever for the house, check your blood pressure. Maintaining that healthy blood pressure will help. Maintaining a healthy weight. In this country, we do have an obesity problem. And so maintaining healthy weight goes along with, making sure we eat right, making sure we eat nutritious meals, and limit our calorie intake. But it's so hard. Oh my God, listen, it's an easy formula. Less calories in than you need, you lose weight. More calories in than you need, you gain weight. So we'll keep it simple at that. There are other little nuances, but that's the gist of it. Physical activity, it goes a long way in helping our heart. Physical activity helps lower our blood pressure. And the recommendation is to get active. Find something, I tell people, find something you enjoy and get busy doing it. So if it's cycling, if it's running, if it's swimming, if it's dancing, if it's yoga, find something you enjoy and do that. Start low, go slow. I set a goal for 30 minutes, 5 times a week, to give you overall heart health, or 150 minutes a week in total, which would be 2.5 hours of exercise. And so find something you enjoy, start low, build up, and it'll make a huge difference. Personally, I put in quite a bit of cardio every week, and I've managed to drop my blood pressure 30, 40 points. So now I stay around the 110s on the regular. I'll give a shout out to Dr. Strickland. Dental health is extremely important to heart health. Gum disease leads and is an indicator for heart disease. So if you have bad gums, it does contribute to the heart. It causes inflammatory markers to go up in your blood system, which lead to heart issues. So, flossing daily, taking good care of your teeth will make a difference. Getting enough sleep. So we've got eat right, exercise, dental care, getting sleep is big, is very important. So we need at least, I recommend 7 to 8 hours a night of sleep. The less than that doubles your risk of heart disease. So not getting enough sleep, not getting good sleep will increase your risk of heart disease. We recommend 6 to 8 hours of good sleep if you don't sleep well. So if you're someone who snores a lot, if there's someone at home that hears you, that listens to you and says, you stop breathing when you sleep. I've noticed you just shut off for about 30 seconds and then you'll start breathing again. That might be something called sleep apnea. And if that's something that you do, or if you snore a lot, or if you wake up and you're just tired all day, I was in bed for 8 hours, but I'm just constantly exhausted, then that's something you should be evaluated for. So talk to your doctor about getting tested for that, whether you be a candidate would be a good idea. The other thing is to move throughout the day. So some of us have jobs where we're just sedentary, we just sit. It is recommended that you make it a habit, either park farther away from where you work, working at a standing station, getting used to being active while at work, getting up and moving, use the stairs at work, not the elevator, all those things. So moving throughout the day helps reduce your risk of heart disease. Something I want to remind us all that everything worthwhile is uphill. So anything that's worthwhile takes effort. And sometimes the effort is uncomfortable. But for us to take care of our hearts, we get, as Sister said, we get one body, we get one heart. Some of us, have issues and we end up with a transplant. Sure, it's not preferable to be living with someone else's heart if you can avoid it. So take care of the one you got, the one that God gave us, as best as possible. Thank you all for being here today.
All right, always a pleasure to follow Dr. Quinones. Anyways, hello everyone, good to be with you. Dr. Quinones, I do have a blood pressure machine. I'm still working on my diastolic number. It's got to be below 90. So everything we're trying to help everyone tonight with is heart health. My piece is going to be on, let me share my screen, mental health and the impacts on the heart, or is it the opposite? I don't know. I have news for you. It's kind of both. So mental health and the impact on heart. Well, let's talk, panic. Wow, that's nothing good to talk about, right? Panic is something that can impact the heart, that's for sure. We all do it. We all go through panic. One quick test of that is, did you ever lose your cell phone? Did you ever lose your smartphone? Did it break? Did it crack or whatever? You're on a deadline for your boss and your computer breaks down, you're panicking. So what does panic look like? I'm not going to read this, but panic looks like basically intense worry, fear, or avoidance. There it is, physical symptoms, pounding or racing heart. So I want to show you panic, kind of what you can read all that. We all know what panic looks like, but this screen here I want to show you it's not an ice cream cone. It is actually it's a iceberg. Okay, so that's the iceberg analogy, and everything that we go through is the stuff that we see is on the top, right? So where panic lies is, I think, all this kind of stuff: anger, annoyed, violent, whatever. The stuff on the bottom though is just deep water stuff. That's the the Proverbs 20 stuff. But what we see when we panic is things that are visual, and it does have an effect on the heart. Now, what are the numbers about panic? This screen here, you can do what you want with it. I mean, this is data from 2001, 2004 when I was researching. I tried to find something prior to COVID. I couldn't really find it. I think maybe it's just a matter of just getting more research done. But on the bottom of that chart, you can see there every year up to 11% of Americans experience a panic attack. Approximately 2%, 3% go on to develop a panic disorder. So panic, that's a lot, right? 11%. Is it really? Well, okay, so panic for the just sheer numbers of it is if you think about the United States, 331 million as of 2021, so 33 million go through panic. New York City, the greater New York City area, 8.5 million population, so what's that, 850,000? Did I get that math right? So I mean, for me, the Garden State Church is probably the most stressed out state, and I think the true telltale sign is road rage. When I just drive 15 minutes, I'm always constantly being cut off. So I just think people are going through some sort of crisis, and we need to grab a hold of ourselves every day. Next slide is, let's see here. This is a schema chart. I've shown it before in other groups, and I'll show it again at other times too, along with the iceberg analogy. But it's sort of that, panic can be as easy as 1, 2, 3. It really can. That's just my sort of linear thinking when I kind of frame things up. We're kind of like one thought, one step, one behavior, maladaptive behavior from just going into panic, right? So it could be anything from like, hey, my friend doesn't telephone me on my birthday. That's a mill thing I'm looking at here. You're already in that mode and mindset of just feeling worthless or in a bad mood. And then the schema is just the thoughts supported by activity that somewhat is not true, really. So what, the friend doesn't call you on your birthday, maybe they're just busy or they're out of town or traveling. Then you're just going through what's called rumination and sort of looping into thoughts, behavior. You're shutting yourself down, you're isolating, you're being, all that negative reinforcement by other emotions are starting to take effect. And really kind of what I'm alluding to here is, if you think about it, it's all the stuff underneath the waterline, right? We're gonna go below the waterline here. We're seeing stress, helplessness, overwhelm, embarrassed, anxiety. That's all stuff that's stewing up emotionally for people, and their mental health it's not seen. When we're quiet, when we're isolated, there's still a lot of stuff going on underneath. Now, this is obviously health empowerment group, so I'm here to empower you and try to help you out. And what do I mean by that? Well, in the crisis work that I do is, one of the goals that we try to do for people who come in on our crisis line is really just to achieve a calm, get them to a calm. And not only do we safety plan them, but we also want to help them, equip them for skills out in the world out there. So some of the techniques that we work on is something called 3-2-1. And I just want to teach this to you just so that hopefully with a mindset and sort of a skill of just grounding your thoughts, taking it captive, every thought. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 10, right? So 3-2-1 goes like this. If you're racing, your emotions are like looping and you're just like negative emotion, negative thoughts, it's just rapidly advancing, you're unraveling. And then the above waterline stuff comes out, anger, burst, whatever. It starts first with the stuff that's inside. But when we're in that mindset, we're unraveling, we need to calm. Sometimes we just have to grab and pin down our thoughts. Some things I do is what's called 3-2-1. You just have to remember 3-2-1, which is, again, easy to do and easy to remember. And it goes like this. You're going to focus on great details of 3 things you see, 2 things you hear, and 1 thing you smell. And if you can just do that, what that's going to help do, all those emotions that are going on, the negative looping and the rumination, you'll be able to crack that. You'll be able to break it and sort of grab those thoughts that are racing and just ground them. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is just a variation of 3-2-1. It goes like this: 5 things you see, 4 things you get up and go touch, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing that is positive self-statement about you. Now, trust me, this works. I've been using it for years. Any type of situation that I'm in confrontation, whether it's work related or anything that I'm just kind of racing in my thoughts and things are just going crazy in my head, I need to capture my thoughts and pin them down. I do things like word scramble. When I was working in the office space and I was afraid, I had fears of just, confronting people or confronting that boss or whatever kind of challenge that I had would appear. I would search for literally any sign I could find in the room and start word scrambling the sign. Just try and rearrange the letters, recreate new words. It's amazing what the mind can do if you can use it in a healthy way. What you're doing is you're talking to somebody, you're actually engaging that person, but my right eye is looking at a sign and I'm scrambling the words and I'm calming my emotions. So what happens is we're trying to distract ourselves enough so that those maladaptive behaviors and all those thoughts that are negative, we're grounding them, we're capturing it, and now I'm going to engage with this person. I'm going to start talking to them and start listening to them and have a really healthy conversation, even though it's confrontational. These are just some techniques that we coach some of the people that we're in crisis line with people who come in panic mode, and we try and get them to a calm. One of the things we do is teach them skills like this. That's the end of my discussion. I just wanted to give you guys some skills, leave you to empower you in a healthy way so that the heart it has an impact from mental health and kind of what we do to our heart. And in other ways too, sometimes with our heart, if it's having troubles like disease or whatever, we can go through some of those emotions like depression or being overwhelmed, or then it's just looping and we're having some unhealthy behavior. So I will leave it at that though. My time is done and I'm going to turn it over to Mama Gloria.
Okay. I unmuted myself. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Wow. Thank you so much, guys. Amaka, Ariel, Carlito, thank you so much for what you shared. And so my part tonight, and I'm so grateful, is that I get to share about mental health and how it impacts our heart health, focusing on women. So grateful for this time. So first of all, I want to start out with the scripture, Proverbs 4, verse 23. And what it actually talks about is, above all, guard your heart. It is the wellspring of life. And from what we just heard, is clear because everything flows from our heart, right? Everything can affect our hearts. So of course, our mental health, right, is important. So there's a connection clearly between mental health and heart health. And it has been confirmed actually by the American Heart Association. It's a growing body of research that shows good mental health can reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease and improve overall heart health in a statement. So when we think about that, positive mental health conditions like optimism, mindfulness, emotional vitality, and overall psychological well-being are good for the heart, according to research. But, oftentimes when we can't see something, we don't really take it serious, right? We can't see our heart. So oftentimes we don't take it serious, especially when it comes to our mental health. I think oftentimes we really don't think about our mental health being related to our heart health, but it's very related on the spiritual level and on the physical level, that we're told by God in Proverbs to guard our hearts because it's the wellspring of life. And when we think about our heart, all that we shared, definitely everything comes from our heart. Our heart pumps the blood through our body, and it also carries the oxygen through our body. So it's understandable why we need to guard our hearts. And so in doing so, since our emotions affect our heart, then we've got to understand how we can guard our hearts. And for women, the thing is, for women are, there's a gender, found that the gender does make a difference. It makes a difference for us women. Women are more prone to disease and heart conditions after emotional stress compared to men. And heart disease is a leading cause of death for women in according to the Center for Disease, CDC. Mental health issues are often higher than men. 1 out of 10 women in the US reported symptoms that suggest they experienced an episode of major depression in the last year, according to the CDC. Again, it can be hard to imagine how your state of mind might have anything to do with the plumbing in your heart. But the bottom line is it does. It's all connected. Our mind, our heart, and our body, as we've heard from Emeka and Ariel, and also Carlito, it's all connected. We can't separate it. So we must learn ways to guard our heart. And the good news is we can do that. And the good news is also God even gives us ways in his word. And amazingly, scientists has even pointed out through research that gratitude actually helps us get rid of inflammation in our hearts or prevent it. How about that? Gratitude. But that's what we are told, right? In God's word, when you think about Philippians 4:8 and the things that we need to think about to offset those negative thoughts. He even tells us whatever is true, whatever is noble, and whatever is right, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, to think about those things. Because guys, it's not just good for our emotional needs or our spiritual needs, it impacts our hearts. So we really want to make sure that we are guarding our hearts by thinking on those good things. And again, especially for women, we have a higher death rate because of heart disease. So we really want to make sure that we're taking it all seriously. So everything is inclusive, as we've seen from, again, from Amaka and Ariel, and also Carlita. So the doctors advise that although mental health is a key part of improving heart health, it is a multidisciplinary approach where we need to focus on the proper medications, if we're taking medication, cardiac rehabilitation, if we're having a problem with our heart, and lifestyle changes, as Ariel and also Amaka has mentioned, and also Carlita, with our focus and being calm. So the treatment plan really should be all inclusive and attainable goals. So pretty much that's really what I wanted to share with us tonight, just making sure that we are definitely taking control of our mental health and guarding our heart by taking control of our mental health. So thank you so much, Health Empowerment Group, for allowing me this opportunity to share. Thank you.